Hello everyone, welcome you all to the Rubber Industry NewsHour. This is a Technobase weekly online program for global rubber industry. As you may know, this program has technical presentations, panel discussions, business and leadership conversation relevant to the red rubber industry. Each episode has a different focus, so I welcome you all for this episode number 35. In this episode, we have a special conversation with Mr. Salvatore Piniciotto. He is the Secretary General of the International Rubber Study Group. We are having conversation with him on the sustainable natural rubber, what it means, what kind of challenges or issues involved with the sustainable natural rubber. Before we proceed with the session, let me introduce about Technobase. As you know, Technobase is the hosting this rubber industry NewsHour. Let me brief you about what kind of activities we are doing for the rubber industry. Technobase established in 2005, almost 17 years ago, located in Thailand, and it is recognized as International Resource Center for Industries and Technologies. Two main business service, two activities, one is a professional education, other one is on the business services. When it comes to services, we have broad range of services along with the training programs. We have trade exhibitions, we have webinars, publications. We organize lots of networking events. We are involved in the technical consulting and also the business matchmaking and knowledge test. And our business focus is not just on the rubber industry, but that is the rubber industry is one of the main focus of the Technobase, but not only the rubber industry, but we also have other segments of the polymer industry, plastics, polyurethanes, adhesion coatings, and also non-polymer side, we cover on energy, environment, water and membrane technologies, and filtration and separation. You can always check about Technobase at technobase.org. And our services are pretty much global. Let me talk about what kind of services we offer for the rubber, latex, and tire industry. First is introduced to you the exhibition we have, the GRTE. Next year, we're going to host the 5th edition, 29 to 31st March in Bangkok. And I welcome you all to join this exhibition in next year, March. We have also second edition of the Middle East Rubber Expo. It will be held during 21st to 22nd November in Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, near to Dubai. You can always find out our exhibitions website expo.technobase.org. Along with these two exhibitions, we also focus on the research development. So we have a special segment in these shows, Rubber Research and Patents Poster Fair. Both shows have this segment. So this is aimed to be a platform for the researchers and industries to collaborate and cooperate and exchange information on the current developments on the research and innovations. We offer the online training program. We have a rubber industry online training program through our know-how webinars platform. It's an online platform for professional education. Not only rubber industry, we also have other segments of the training in segment of industry like plastics, polyurethane, also chemical engineering and membrane technology, various other segments also there. So you can always check more details about our professional education training program at knowhow-webinars.com. With comes to the rubber industry training program, we are fortunate in working with the very experienced and knowledgeable experts as a resource persons from different parts of the world, and where they are very well experienced in their own segment. And they have developed more than 250 short topics training programs. Currently, we have three types of programs. Type 1, you have 30 minutes to 3 hour long short topics. We have 250 plus topics are available. And we have a type 2 version is master classes, which are 1 day to 10-day long, and these are also available in various specialized subjects. And we're introducing the next year a diploma program, executive diploma, which is going to be 3-month long and starting next year. This is what I'm talking about in executive diploma 360 degrees, rubber industry technology and management. Basically, it covers both the technical aspects and management aspects of the rubber industry. Very unique program, and this is only for the non-tire industry, and the people who join this program must have a little experience in the industry. This is not for the students with no experience. It's basically for the professionals with little experience, if they want to excel their improve their skills. This is one of the good program we develop, and it is totally online and flexible with the timings. Okay, 4 hours a day you have to spend for 3 months. We have published number of books. You can always check our store, Technobiz store, store.technobiz.org. Lots of books available. Feel free to check it out. And we have these are the books. We have pocket books and reference books. And we publish a Rubber and Tire Digest magazine. It's a digital format now, and it is available to subscribe at the rubbertiredigest.com. It's a free subscription, and there are more than 6,000 plus readers across the world reading this magazine. It's jointly published by Technobiz and Rubber World magazine. And Rubber Industry NewsHour, we started early this year in January. It's very getting popular with 3,000 plus subscribers from different parts of the world following this one, both in live session as well as the recorded session. It covers the technical talks, market outlook, discussions, various conversation. Feel free to check out, join this session on a regular basis. And Rubber Industry Connect is a program that we engage rubber technology suppliers or rubber product manufacturers to promote their products and also brand their products through our Technobiz platforms. Other than that, we have many other services, technical consulting, process improvement audits, some customized marketing, promotion, branding, and also skill development. We have networks, Facebook, we have Rubber Technologies Global Network. Currently, it is 5,300 members are there following this group. We also have a Rubber Industry Network that's on the LinkedIn. Currently is 5,300 plus too, and I think close to 5,800 now. And we have a Rubber Industry Network on the WhatsApp group also, around 3,200 members also there. So through these platforms, we also circulate our activities and invite people to participate. And we have video platform on YouTube, Technobiz channel. Well, many of our activities we post on YouTube channel. Yeah, please check it out. Whenever you're free, you can always check all the past episodes of Rubber Industry NewsHour. Feel free to check it out. And we offer the digital marketing for the rubber industry. If you're interested, you can contact me. And that's our new project, Rubber Industry Library, digital library. This will be the literature library for all rubber industry professionals. So currently work in progress, not ready yet. We aim to release it probably later this year. That's all about Technobiz. If you need more information or understand about Technobiz, feel free to write to me. I think most of you have my contact information, or reach out to me on WhatsApp or mobile contact. Okay, and please check our website technobiz.org. That's briefly about Technobiz. Let's get into the today's session on the episode number 35. Before we proceed to our episode, let me introduce to you about the upcoming event, IRC 2022, which will be held during the 24th to 26th November in Bangalore, organized by the Indian Rubber Institute. It has a conference, workshops, and also the exhibition. Please check more details about this IRC 2022 at the irc2022.com. So welcome you all to the Rubber Industry NewsHour, episode number 35. In this episode, we have Mr. Salvatore Piniggiotto. He's a Secretary General of International Rubber Study Group, We'll be having conversation with him on sustainable natural rubber. Hello, Mr. Salvatore. Welcome to Rubber Industry NewsHour. Thank you for accepting my invitation to be part of this discussion on the what is sustainable natural rubber and what kind of issues involved around this. We call it SNR or sustainable natural rubber. Thank you very much for being part of this.
Thank you, Param, for the invitation and for having me here this morning. And yeah, I'm very glad to share with you some views or insight on sustainability.
Okay, let's dive into it. My first question is, what exactly means sustainable natural rubber means? How you define it?
Yeah, good question, because actually there is no definition of sustainable natural rubber, and frankly, I don't even like this approach. I think it's important to speak about the sustainability in the rubber economy. That it includes natural rubber and synthetic rubber, because we need to avoid the polarization of this kind of discussion. Too often we speak about producing countries and consuming countries. We speak about synthetic rubber versus natural rubber, while at the end of the day, we are part of one ecosystem, and we need to deal with both products, and all the stakeholders should be involved in this discussion. So without taking any specific view on one side on the other side. Also because sometimes also the discussion about who is a producing country and who is a consuming country is a bit a paradox, because we have producing countries that are also consuming countries. So, yes. I think this is a bit a bit strange, but sometimes we have always this kind of discussion that tend a bit to divide opinions and views, and this is not actually beneficial for the rubber sector overall.
Mm-hmm. But but in many countries are trying to promote, we have this sustainable natural rubber grades, and are there any standards, any countries developing it on the quality of the SNR?
No, basically today there is no any specific definition of sustainable natural rubber. So I think the sustainability in natural rubber implies different things. Sustainability first implies a different way to use and to produce and to use our raw materials and natural resources. And as such, I think it's a way to change, the way we approach, this business. So it's basically a change in business model in a way that has different kind of approaches, right? But I think if we just stick on natural rubber, I think the main topic is how we make sure that natural rubber is produced and really consumed in a sustainable manner. And the production side, the upstream side, is very important because, as you know, we produce annually 40 million tons about of natural rubber. Of these 40 million tons, according to different statistics, but basically 85–90% of this is produced by smallholders that usually are families, small communities that work in the field, in the plantations, and produce every day natural rubber. So I think this is a very important topic. Usually the approach that we tend to use is to start to address some kind of environmental issues, because I think approaching and trying to solve environmental issues is in a way easier than not to approach social or economic issues. But in my view, I think it's a bit the other way around. I think we can solve the environmental issues only if we solve the social and economic side of it. Otherwise, we can certainly manage to limit some kind of damages and risk, but we will never completely solve the main issues there. So I think that is really the most important part of it. Now the issue is how we do it. I think this is the question. It implies, as I said, different approaches. So.
And IRG itself has this program called Sustainable Natural Rubber Initiative. What's all about it?
No, the Sustainable Natural Rubber Initiative has been the first initiative in terms of sustainability for the natural rubber economy that started, I think, in 2013-14. And it was, and still is, a voluntary industry approach. There has a multi-stakeholder approach. There has been several years of meeting discussions at the end of which it has been identified 6 criteria and 6 KPI. And the merit, I think, of SNI was basically to start to speak about sustainability in the rubber industry, so initiating the discussion. And it has been a successful program, considering that today everyone really speaks about sustainability. So even the so-called producing countries that I think some years ago maybe there was a little understanding of what this sustainability topic was all about, and now everyone is embracing this sustainable path. This is enough? No, it is not enough. It's a start, but no, the topic, as I said, is how and what we want to reach in terms of sustainability, because my great concern right now is that the sector as a whole has not a clear direction. There is not a clear timeline. So basically, we don't know yet what we want to achieve in a certain period of time. And I think instead, this is a very important step, and try to understand what really is the scope of this exercise, because otherwise the risk is that we have a too wide approach, and that the risk is that we do a lot of different kind of small projects, like it's already happening, but overall we don't reach really a really sustainable rubber sector. The risk is basically to have what it has happened in cocoa, coffee, and others commodities, where we have a lot of projects, but then basically overall nothing changed much.
Yeah. And I always understand that the practices, even the tracing the sustainable practices, okay, you always relate to the whatever sustainability is, you down to the practices implemented in the, whether it is a processing or plantation. I think do you think it's really challenging to trace
whether they're really following the sustainable practices. You have planters, you have a dealers, sub dealers, factories. So
Of course, yes. I mean, one issue is how we measure
right.
this sustainability thing, and how we show that no, we are producing in a sustainable manner. So I think it's difficult, but first, no, what is difficult is to bring at scale sustainability. So because it implies a lot of investment, a lot of commitment, and no, and it requires the participation, the active participation of all stakeholders. So no, we are not speaking here only about the tire makers or the NGOs. No, we are speaking about tire makers, NGOs, government, financial institutions, traders, and basically all the supply chain, and everyone has to be involved in this. The other topic is that it is true that 70% of the natural rubber supply goes to manufacturing of tires, but also we have another 30% that is other general rubber goods, as we no, we nominate them, but but in this, for instance, one that has emerged also because of COVID, but I think the importance was already there before of COVID, is the glove sector, and the glove sector is certainly right now not fully involved in this sustainability discussion. Of course, they have some issues related to ESG, and but I think now whatever is going to be discussed about sustainability has an impact in all the sectors, and all these sectors has to be involved in the discussion. So, and this is also the effort that as Irfg we are trying to do. We are trying to act as a bridge between different stakeholders and different end-use sectors, but also different producers, because also when we speak about sustainability on the production side, we have to realize that it is not always all the same. So in Thailand, we have certain problems. In Cambodia, we have another ones, and in Vietnam, there are any other issues. So I think there are specific issues that we have to address on country-by-country basis, and this is of course the challenge. But the rubber sector has the technical expertise and the capabilities to do this. What we have to do is to organize these resources in a different way. So today we need no, we are basically stick a bit on a traditional way of thinking and doing business. We have to have a more innovative approach, also innovative approach in terms of collaboration among different organizations, and this is strategic, because if you look, for instance, at the role of research and development in this industry, it's really important, and it's going to be more and more important in the future. Now, this is natural rubber is a strategic raw material, and we have to deal with it in this way, with this kind of approach. So so research and development is to me is today the key for the future, because we have today, because right now it has been focused on improving crops, improving the resilience of the trees, and this is very important, because also if we look at what climate change might mean for this industry in terms of basically adapting natural rubber plantation to climate change risk is very important, but also on the mitigation side, natural rubber plantation might have an important role. So I think that part it has been very important and has to continue, but also we need to develop research and development in other areas, and certainly natural rubber is today over dependent on one sector basically, and one market, that is China. So we need to develop activities that identify new applications that promote the natural rubber excellent characteristics in other sector, and we need also to make sure that the use of natural rubber happens also in other important countries. That is something that is already happening. There has been a lot of Chinese investment, for instance, in Thailand in relation to tires making, but no, we there really need a more strategic approach. There are countries where basically, like Myanmar or Cambodia or Laos or others, that they don't have any internal demand, and they rely only on export. So I think there is a lot that we need to do, but we need a vision. No, we need really a strategic approach. What is the vision of this industry in the next 30 years? Because then, we always think in terms of we always have a long-term approach, because this is the nature of this business. Because from the moment that we plant rubber trees to the moment basically that we can get any product out of it, we need at least 7 years, in some cases 5 years, in some cases 6 years. But basically, we have this gap of time, and so our logic is always a bit on the long term. But what is missing right now is a vision for the sector. So what we want to do with it, and how we make sure that natural rubber continues to be a strategic material in the future.
And you're talking correctly about the, I think it makes sense about research needs, diversifying into new applications, and also looking at the climate change impact on the, Irfg is doing some collaborative project with NTU, Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. Can you talk about it? What is happening in that? What is the project all about?
Basically, I think collaboration with universities, in my view, is really very important for different reasons. First, because I think universities are the place where new approaches might emerge. I think that on the other hand, universities need this collaboration with industry to understand better what the business is all about, and in which direction their own activities should be directed. So I think it's a very fruitful approach. So what we are doing with NTU right now is, so we have 1 year collaboration. In this 1 year collaboration, what we are working on mainly is to basically update and fine-tuning our statistical model. So we have a statistical model that has been developed internally in Irfg to forecast the supply and demand in the short, medium, and long term. But this statistical model needs to be improved and needs to include some aspects that right now are not there, such as, for instance, the impact of climate change in natural rubber supply. So we are working with NTU on this project. And the goal is basically to also to produce a scientific paper on the work that we are doing, and most likely also we are going to have a workshop we are going to organize a workshop together to present the outcome of the work that we are doing. The collaboration has the potential to move also to other topics such as traceability, for instance, in the natural rubber supply chain. And also because Irfg is a partner of the of SAIL, that is agri-food platform that has been put in place by NTU and Enterprise Singapore. So we would like to use that platform to put natural rubber at the center of projects related to sustainability. Also because rubber is one of the main commodities that is traded in Singapore, and I think it's important for us. It's important for Singapore, and it's important for the industry as a whole. So I am very pleased to have this this collaboration, and we would like to extend this collaboration with also other universities.
It's a very good initiative. I really like that, the initiative. Let's look into the, you talked about various countries, there are different practices. In your view, in a personal view, which country is implementing, a proper way of handling the natural rubber industry? Or give us some guideline, best practices. Okay, this is a way you should, this practices or this strategies is good for in the long term of the natural rubber industry. Whether you name the country or just highlight some of the best practices been implementing currently.
No, but I think now every country is trying to do something, right? So this is this is the point. So, but also it's clear that the production of natural rubber is also very concentrated. So, so as you know, so Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and now Côte d'Ivoire are the main producer of natural rubber in the world. I think they represent 70% maybe of the overall production. So clearly what's happening in those countries is very important. So for me, everyone is trying to do something. No, my concern is again that we might need more coordination of different kind of activities. We need more sharing of experience and knowledge, because although there are diversities, but certain kind of activities might be replicated also in other countries. But I think the first thing that also they should look at is how to reduce in their own countries the long supply chain that they have, because today the supply chain is long, is complex. In between the smallholders and the users, we have a lot of players. The smallholders itself, they are not in touch with the end use market, but they have to deal with a number of intermediaries there, and for them now it's becoming difficult. I think today there are the technical tools to make sure that smallholders might be more in touch with the market. And to me, so governments should make sure that this supply chain is more transparent and is more effective, and they should help in bringing up scalability in terms of investment in IT, for instance. We need to have internet connection also in remote areas if we want to make sure that, or if we want to empower basically smallholders. I think we need, and there's been a lot of discussion, I think in Thailand they are trying to do as well, but basically to establish cooperative of smallholders so that they can have more negotiation power. They can also collaborate among themselves in a more effective way. So I think there are a lot of things that has to be done, but we should concentrate on the main issues and then trying to solve them and then moving to any small other activities. But we know what are the issues there. So I think we should have a willingness to address those issues. And sometimes I think on this side we are moving too slowly, because I was thinking yesterday, if in these 5 years, 6 years that I'm Secretary General of IRG, maybe I was giving a presentation 5 years ago that is very similar on what I'm saying today. So I think but this implies the fact that some changes are very slow, and I think it is now the time to speed up those changes.
No, but you have so many organizations already on the natural rubber. You have IRG, NRPC, you have Irfg, and there are, each country has their own rubber bodies, rubber boards, rubber councils like this. So you think the synergy between these organizations is important to move forward?
For me, is strategic. Is really important. I think, but also I think it's important. Everyone has to understand, what is at stake here.
Yeah.
And so IRG tries always to collaborate with everyone. But we should abandon basically the idea that one organization can solve all the issues, because this will never happen. So all these, the sustainability in natural rubber as well as in synthetic rubber will come only if we understand that only through a collaborative actions this could happen. So as I said before, too often this dialogue has been polarized. And this does not help. So I think everyone has a role to play. Everyone has to give its own contribution, and it's possible. ISG, we have dealt with climate change together with IRTB, C4, CIRAD, basically asking them to put together the information that we have or that they have about this topic, because it's clear that every one of these research and development organizations were doing some kind of research around that topic. But till 2020, when we started this collaboration with them, the sector was not aware exactly on the findings of this research. So our job there was basically to coordinate this work, putting together what we know about the topic, but also what we don't know about the topic, because it's clear that, for instance, we don't know how natural rubber trees react when a dramatic change in temperature happens. So and this has an implication in terms of productivity. And so it's very important for us to understand these factors. But to understand these factors, we need research and development investments, and making appropriate research. And we need to know where the research should be focused on. So this is the work that we did in just one topic, that is climate change. But now, if you look, we spoke and we mentioned about smallholders, but no, the question is how many smallholders there are currently working in the natural rubber industry. I don't know. No one knows, and no one knows because basically there is a lack of data in relation of social issues. So there are some countries, for instance, doing something. Malaysia has adopted a system where they basically know more precisely how many smallholders are in Malaysia. They have a card. They know where these people are, who they are. But other countries are not doing this. And ISG, we tried also to, and we are trying to put together this kind of information, asking also information to some governments in Southeast Asia, but they don't have this kind of information. And so when we speak about smallholders and action towards smallholders and the participation of women and youth, we need to understand the demographic structure of these smallholders. Who are they? How many women are working there? How many men? Eventually, how many children? If we speak about child labor, maybe something is happening somewhere, but no one knows exactly what is the how big is this problem at the end of the day. And this is because there is a completely lack of this kind of data. So this is something that we should address.
I think the data related socio-economics is very, very important to strategize the
you see, I think it's very difficult to identify solutions if you don't know the extension of your problems. I think first you have to understand with what kind of issues you are facing there.
Yeah, but you talk about the data. You hit the point correctly. At the same time, whatever the data available, is it accurate or not? Whether it is
what kind of data you are speaking about?
Whether it is whole supply issue, supply and demand, or or the on farmers. So you just mentioned about how many farmers we don't know. Okay, some data is available, some data is not available. I think do you think that there is an issues about the accuracy of all the data available, in particularly the supply, the plantation side?
Of course, yes, there are issues. There are issues because the way the production data, but also supply data, are basically collected or put in together by the source of those data. It's not uniform. They might. In Thailand they might collect in a way, in Malaysia they might collect in another way, and so on and so forth. But also, we have the same issue with consumption or usage data in the European Union. There is no one basically checking the accuracy of that kind of data. This is the work that ISG does. Basically, the work that we do is trying to make sense of all this kind of information that we know. They are put together in very different way, and the work of the statisticians in RSG is try to understand if those data makes real sense, and this is the work that we do, and I think it's the only organization actually that do this kind of check. And then we are doing this because our goal is to increase transparency in the rubber market through the publication of statistics. So our numbers might differ from other numbers sometimes, simply because what we do is trying to filter some information about also the information that we get from other sources. So we basically counter check the information that we receive. But it's clear that, of course, there is an issue overall in terms of accuracy, because the first check should be done at the source, but at the source, no, they don't check, because sometimes the reason why, or the scope for them to collect the statistics is not to publish a production number. Maybe the scope is different, and they come up also with with the production number. And sometimes also, if we speak about governments might have different numbers in different ministries, just because the reason why they collect those numbers is different. So, and the methodology might be different. So I think this is the issue, and this has an impact on the level of accuracy, in a way. But I think this is when you deal about statistics in any kind of raw materials, of course, this happens. Our job is to reduce this accuracy, improve the accuracy, and so reduce the risk of a big gap.
Yeah. I think this is always an ongoing and challenging issue to keep the data accurate because of the methods they use at the sources. Yeah. Okay, let's look into the forest certification. This is one thing that people, said forest certifications are important, and the sustainable practices and things like that. So what is your opinion about forest certifications? Are there really any useful, pragmatic certifications for the rubber plantations?
But also there, I think we need to avoid an ideological approach on certification. I think certification might be useful, but is also an expensive exercise. So it's not for everyone. And as I said, when we speak about 90% of 40 million tons of natural rubber production made by smallholders, of course, for them the issue is they can use really certification, and maybe the answer is not, unless there is someone that is paying for it, and that could be the government, that could be part of the industry. But still, we have to find it. Who is paying the bill for this?
Yeah.
And so I think at the end, certification might be an important tool, but I don't believe that certification itself can really solve the issue. We need maybe to put in place more a kind of verification process that is less expensive, and using the resources that are already available in the industry. So I think that might be more the way forward, instead of just asking people to be certified. Also because, on the other hand, the request of the users in terms of certification is not uniform. Basically, they can ask a different kind of certification or different kind of declaration according to different countries, different producers. So what we know is processors and producers are asked to show that they are producing in a sustainable way. But that certification is the key for everything. I don't believe so, because for me the main limitation is the cost for it.
Yeah, unless the government invests in it and the supports in it, then yeah.
Unless the government heavily invest in this. But also, no, again, no, this has to do also with what is the goal. Because
Yeah.
basically, if the goal is to have 40 million tons of natural rubber certified, is one thing. No, if it's 5 million tons or 7 million tons, is a different topic. So this is why I think it's important to identify what is the goal, what is the timeline, and starting to implement it. Because till we only discuss, I think no, discussing is nice. I like it, but at the end of the day, we need to start to do something on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is the point, and we can do it only if we have a master plan. Well, what is the plan there? No, just identifying. We need to have these quantities of sustainable natural rubber, whatever it means. In 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. No, but try to do a plan, to have a direction, because if we don't have a direction, every discussion is nice, but then it's difficult to implement on the ground.
Yeah. Now it leads to this, the point is a zero carbon society. You talk about a plan, zero carbon society. I'm wondering whether it is real. Is it realistic? By 2035, some companies in automotive industries have their own plan, tire industries have their own plan on various, the utilizing 100% sustainable materials. What is your opinion about the zero carbon society or the carbon free life?
But I think eventually it will happen. But to me, it will take time. It will take time because we don't have all the technologies today in place, and of course there are big money, big investments that have been put on the table. But one thing is to have the money. The other thing is it is to have the actual technology that can bring us to a net zero economy or something like this. I think there are a lot of issues. If you look only at the raw materials that should be used in this for reaching this net zero economy, I think it's going to be quite challenging. Not just to speak about something that is closer to us, like batteries for electrical vehicles. To bring those electrical vehicles at scale and not having anymore any fuel engine on the road. So you need a lot of raw materials, and just those raw materials are not there. So basically, if we speak about lithium is not there in sufficient quantity, and nickel is not there in sufficient quantity, and in most of the case, those minerals are also in countries that are willing to use them to develop their own supply chain. So nickel, for instance, is mainly where in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of issues there. So eventually, we will get there. But I think if the timeline that has been set by certain governments and organizations is correct, or that we will be able to meet, but I have some doubts.
Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so far the natural rubber, we always talk about heavier, right? But there is a new alternate, not new, it's been there for a long time, alternate natural rubber sources like dandelion or violet, and various other sources. How do you see the future of these, alternate natural rubber sources?
To me, as Dr. Aziz, that is the Secretary General of IRDB, has pointed out, for instance, at the World Rubber Summit organized by Irfg this year, but also in other occasions. I think that the first thing should be, we have 9 different species of rubber trees, and we are using only one of it. So I think the first things to do, to me, should be to see if we can use some other of these species there, and what are the actions needed to do this. The natural rubber sources that are not coming from rubber trees, I think they might be an alternative, but there are still production issues, cost issues that need to be overcome. And so I think it will take time, and but I don't think that in terms of volumes they can basically come close to the production of natural rubber coming from Hevea brasiliensis right now. They might be a product that could be used in certain kind of applications, so they will have a role in the market, of course, but it is also there a sustainability strategy in a way. No, it is part of this sustainability strategy. So I don't think it's something that could challenge the production coming from rubber trees, but could be a complement to that kind of to that kind of production for niche market, I think. But I think the strategy on sustainability is bigger than what we think, because also include circular economy, for instance. So it's something that we need to look at it more and more. So how to recycle end of life tires. There is a lot of going on that side. It's not only how we collect end of life tires, but it's also if we can make anything out of it at the end of the day. And we know it's not a simple, we don't have a simple answer on this, but I think there are organizations and that are looking at these issues. I was in Portugal last week at the AGM of the International Synthetic Rubber User Association. Yes, but they did a study with the MacArthur Foundation on circular economy, on elastomers that could be included in this circular economy loop, and it looks like that they come out with a number of 24-25% of elastomers could be actually put in this circular system. So I think all these things are quite interesting, and we need to develop more and more to have more information on this. And I think this is all part of this sustainability journey at the end of the day.
I think one issue is that what we're observing is the labor availability, or we call tapers. Okay, how do you see young people? I don't think they'd want to stay into the taper. Every taper's family, they don't want to get into the taper business anyway. Tapping the latex, so it's going to be challenging. How do you see the future in latex harvesting, or you can call it rubber tapping? Whether you're going to have automation there, or whether you're going to AI or any technology comes up, and how do you see that? Because big challenge, I think, yes, is it?
It's one of the biggest challenges. I think the young people rightly don't want to stay in the
Right.
they don't want to tap, but simply because first the income of tappers really it's low. So right now, I don't think the sector can be competitive or attractive enough for the younger generation. Today, there are a lot of alternatives out there. So, if someone has a good opportunity or a better opportunity, of course, will prefer to pick that one. Also because tapping is required skills, required a lot of commitment, because now you have to go in the field in these tropical countries, and it's sometimes it's very hot, sometimes it's really wet. And so basically, no, you need really to have a lot of commitment for this kind of work. So and on the other hand, right now there are no automatic technology that could really replace the no these workers there. I think on one hand we need to make sure that natural rubber tappers have an income that is good enough and attractive enough to make sure that the young people might join the industry. And this already is a big topic, because right now everyone is speaking about how to control the price, but how to control the price is a false problem to me, because over the years, it has been clear that there is anyone that could control the price, and but unfortunately, there is still a lot of narrative on this, and but this is actually move the problems from the real problems. The real problem is how to make sure what is the mechanism that we can put in place so that whatever is going to be the level of the price, the income for tappers is stable and is sufficient for them to live, and also to make investment required to have a sustainable production. Because this is the topic. Control the price is not really a topic. No, it's just it's just something that you cannot reach. There is now these things that everyone want to implement online trading system with the idea that they can find out what is the physical natural rubber price. But I think we have seen some of these already in other raw materials, and I didn't see any of these platforms to be really successful, and simply because to be successful and to really identify what is the physical natural rubber price or the physical any commodity price, I think you need a lot of trading on one platform, and significant trading. And I don't see anyone right now willing to trade big volumes in any of these platforms. They might be useful to trade part of it, but I don't think significant quantities will go through this kind of system. So I don't think that will be much useful in this regard. But again, the debate should be again how we increase the income of tappers. I think this is the main point to them. And then, of course, we need to understand what kind of tappers we want in the future, because also I think if we want to attract young people, we need to invest a lot in education. So maybe the profile of the tappers in the next 20 years is much different from the kind of tappers that we had today. Also because maybe there will be also some technological improvement meanwhile. And also if we speak about using data, artificial intelligence kind of thing, we need a different kind of farmers there. So also there we need a lot of investments in in education. So this is, I think, this is basically the way, but we need it because there is a change in generation now. The good tappers are now retiring, and some of many countries. You are in Thailand, and Thailand relied a lot of immigrants, for instance. And now immigrants, because of COVID, they are not even anymore there. So I think there is a lack of workers, and this is something that should be addressed very rapidly as well, because it put at the risk the production of natural rubber.
So this is a real challenge. That's a problem handling the. Okay, let's look into Africa. Lots of natural rubber coming out from Africa nowadays. So what's happening in Africa now in terms of the natural rubber plantation and the whole industry development? Are they utilizing the best practices already implemented in Southeast Asia, or they're doing their own way of dealing with the natural rubber?
I think in Africa right now is very clear. We have one country that has increased a lot production of natural rubber, that is Cote d'Ivoire. They roughly produce 1 million tons right now. But yeah, I think there is a lot that still should be done clearly. So but there's the structure of the industry is slightly different from Southeast Asia. So the smallholders, they are not exactly the same smallholders that we have in Southeast Asia. They are more organized in cooperative. Anyway, so I think the structure is slightly different. The problem that they have is that right now they export or tend to export a lot of Kaplan. And of course they need to move to higher added value products. There is an increase in investments in terms of processing capacities there, but more should be done. And also they don't have an internal market, so basically they are forced to to export all their own production, and to export 1 million tons is not an easy task, and especially if now the immediate market for them might be Europe, but Europe, we know they are putting in place a lot of regulations right now, so it might be challenging right now to send a lot of material to Europe. So we know that they export in Southeast Asia for sure, and they also started recently to export maybe in Latin America. But as I said, exporting 1 million tons is a lot of material, and there are many issues, and it's not easy. So,
but is the government doing any pro rubber industry policies in those African countries, particularly in the Cote d'Ivoire?
But the government, I think, yeah, I think they have plan this increase in production, of course, and so that is pretty clear. But I think could be done more. Maybe there was not really a strategic plan behind it, and I think instead maybe they should have thought on what to do with these all these products at the end of the day, right? So they had to have a plan, as I said, for investment in processing capacities at least, just for not be linked too much to sell Kaplan. And but I think this part is a bit is a bit missing, but they might be able to think about it and see how to address this issue.
And okay, let's move into so far we talk about natural rubber. Irfg is also involved with synthetic rubber. What is happening with the synthetic rubber point of view in sustainability? Are you doing any activities in this regard?
But I think there are a lot of things going on. There is a trend to try to produce let's say more sustainable synthetic rubber products using, for instance, biobutadiene instead of other feeds. So changing basically or trying to change the feedstock that they are using. I think there are a lot of improvements that could be done at the level of processing plant, because some of these processing plants have been engineered many years ago, and I think now some of them might need an upgrading. So I think there is something going on. Certainly they have a stronger research and development activity in a way compared to natural rubber in trying to identify new product solutions. And they are moving forward also in that direction. As I said, we need to look at this sustainability issue together, natural rubber and synthetic rubber, because at the end of the day, if you have to produce a tire, you need both materials. Now there is no other way that you can have a tire. What it's changed is basically the composition of the mixture that you use. Now you can have more synthetic rubber or more natural rubber according to the performance of the tire itself. But this is what it is. So it's just we need both materials, and we need to develop research and development activities on both sides. So and this it is what will make the tire a sustainable product at the end of the day.
And how about this Russia-Ukraine war? They continued going on this war. How do you see the impact on both natural rubber as well as synthetic rubber and overall its sustainability of the rubber industry? Did you see some changes? Okay, people are prepared now. You got in Europe, you got energy crisis, and they're looking for alternative sources of energy. And of course, so how is your view on it?
I think the energy crisis triggered by the Russia-Ukraine war might have an impact, especially in Europe. I think Synthos, that is one of the synthetic rubber producers in Europe, has declared that they will reduce production by, I think, 30% yes, because of increase in energy costs. So I think that might happen. There is also an issue in relation to the fact that the European Union was importing tires from Russia, for instance. So, and they need now to replace that tires with some other some other exporting countries, and that is not going to be so straightforward. So I think there are some issues there. Of course, this is impacting the overall business, and uncertainties are never good thing for any business. And certainly, we need to make sure that we bypass this period. We hope that the war will finish soon, and maybe we come back to a more normal business situation, because right now, between COVID and geopolitical tensions and economic issues, and I think the world is more uncertain, is more volatile, and this is not good for business anyway. So we need to be resistant, to be there, and and to do our business, and put especially our house in order, because if we put our house in order, I think it will be easier for us to address all these issues.
That's the right statement. That's the right statement. One of the interesting projects that you're doing is the Next Generation Leaders Program at Irfg. I think very interesting initiative. And can you talk about our objectives and also how is the progress on it?
Yeah, basically, when we speak about younger generation to be involved in the rubber industry, yeah, we heard this many times, but again, we didn't see many actions happening there. So what we decided is to do something about it. Right? So and the idea was to launch these Next Generation Leader programs that currently has 13 participants, covering basically all the world, because we have people from Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, but also Germany and Brazil. So the goal that we have given to them and that they have accepted is basically to try to develop a vision for the rubber industry of the future. So basically, I think that young people might have ideas, might have some innovative approach that they might bring into the business. So we are not, of course, these people are people already working in the rubber industry, but we are not interested about the vision of their own companies in the business. No, what we want from them is they develop their own vision, and what is also interesting is that they have different backgrounds. So there are people that are engineers, or more involved in innovation, or more involved on the marketing side. So I think this different kind of expertise put together, I think might bring to identify new solutions. And right now the young generation in rubber were not really involved in the discussion. I attended a lot of conferences, and we always meet basically the same people, most of them with gray hair like me, and but not really very young people. So and we need, and I think we need instead them involved. And the other important thing is that this project has three different levels. One is national, one is regional, and one is international. So we want to work at national, regional, and international level. So these people, they have also the goal to increase the number of participants over time in their own country or in their own region. And I think that is also very important because, as I said, now if we look at the business at national and regional level, the issues might be similar, but most of the time are different. So I think it's important to develop this this kind of discussion, not only at international level, but going more near the ground, basically. Yeah, so they started to work, and now they have identified three different topics that right now they want to address. One is sustainability, one is innovation, and the other one is diversity. And they have formed working groups, and they are starting to work on these different topics. And I think I hope that under the supervision of ISG, but I want to say, they are completely, I mean, we try to help them, but they don't need to follow an IRG way of thinking, right? I think they are completely independent, and this is something that it is very important, and that myself as Secretary General of IRG would like to safeguard, that they have to work in a very independent way. Now, the Secretariat of IRG supports logistically and in any other way, and also putting them in touch with experts in these different kind of fields. But as I said, their own goal is to develop their own vision. What is the vision? What kind of innovative approach we can apply in the industry? And I think this is very important. And also the other things in which they will be involved is to speak with the young people that are not involved in the rubber industry, that they might know anything about the rubber industry, and to see if to generate an interest in them, and also explain to them that the rubber industry is a possibility also to work and be employed and developing your own careers. I remember that when I arrived in Singapore, we spoke with some students at university level, and despite Singapore is the trading hub of rubber and of natural rubber, and is now a producer of synthetic rubber, by the way. But at the university level, and certainly also if we go to polytechnic level, that is slightly lower level than the university, I think there is no much knowledge about the rubber industry. Now, some of them, they do not even know that there is a rubber industry. So, and I think it's our responsibility. I mean, it's not their responsibility. It's responsibility of people working, of the organization and people working in the rubber industry, to make sure that actually they know what that there is a rubber industry, that there are also multinationals working in the rubber industry or involved in the rubber industry, and that could be an employment opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, IRSC should, playing an important role as a platform bridging this. Even you're talking about universities may not know, but you can do the collaborative activities to introduce and encourage research, or giving educational programs, for the benefit of the rubber industry. So,
yeah, I think also these kind of programs, they should be a collaborative activity among government or government agencies and universities and companies. I think this only could be done if there is a collaboration among different stakeholders, and this is very important. And now we are in Singapore. We are based in Singapore, and I always thought that developing this kind of things in this kind of collaboration in Singapore is very important. Is very important for us. Also, to bring something back to Singapore and Singaporean in a way, I mean, we are very pleased to be here and having Singapore as our host country, and I think we should really develop something for people here.
Okay, IRG hosts the.
But also another things, speaking about Singapore, if I may, it's basically also very recently, we are strengthening collaboration with also the Rubber Trade Association of Singapore because we think also there is very important that that IRG could support rubber traders in Singapore, and so we are strengthening collaboration. We have already organized one event at the Enterprise Singapore headquarters with RTAS, and this is also another part of this collaboration with Singapore and Singaporean authorities and Singaporean organizations that I think it's very important, and we are very keen to develop this further. So I think also this is a very important project for us.
That's nice. That's good for the Singapore and the overall industry as well, with RTAS collaboration.
Yes.
So you have this, the IRG hosts this annual, maybe there used to be the biannual, or currently now it's going to be annual event, the World Rubber Summit. I think it's a very useful, very important event for the global rubber industry. Can you elaborate on what kind of activities happening, or how is the progress of this? Is it WRS is a short word used now?
But I think the World Rubber Summit is for us is the most important event that we organize during the year, and okay, we are an authoritative source in terms of statistics, but also our goal is again to promote a dialogue among different stakeholders and trying to identify possible solutions to the many problems that the rubber industry has to face. So the World Rubber Summit, the scope of the World Rubber Summit is the moment, is one of the moments where governments, industry, NGOs, and financial institutions come together, and they can basically speak about these issues, and also this is the opportunity to network and discuss with each other and try to identify solutions. So we are very pleased to organize this conference every year. But we changed on yearly basis because the topic at the stake were very important, and I think we felt that it would be important for us to help in providing a contribution in this regard. Also, the other things that we try to do is to organize the event in Singapore, but also try to involve other ISG member countries in the organization of the World Rubber Summit. So we had a World Rubber Summit in 2018 in Sri Lanka, organized with the government of Sri Lanka, and 2021, although it was basically hybrid event due to still the COVID-19 pandemic situation, but we organized this with Côte d'Ivoire. We had the pleasure also to have the Prime Minister of Côte d'Ivoire giving the opening address there, and I think it's very important because the World Rubber Summit might be an opportunity for these countries to basically show what the rubber industry is all about there, what they can offer, and also for participants to understand the rubber industry and the products that they can buy eventually, from there. So I think it's a great opportunity, and we are. I think ISG will continue to organize this kind of event. In the last couple of years, it has been more challenging because we had to do this in a hybrid event, and organizing an hybrid event, as you might know better than me, is like organizing two conferences at the same time. so it's very, very, very challenging, but but I think overall it has been quite successful, and also we used the outcome of the World Rubber Summit to drive a bit also our work program and our agenda. That is the other point. So it's not just a conference by itself, but no, it helps also the Irfg Secretariat to identify what are the issues at stake, and which kind of direction our work should go.
Yeah, it's really an important event. It's bring all the stakeholders together, and also when you move to the different countries, member countries, it's also you're bringing an business opportunity for investment opportunities to that country as well. It's, I think, that's that way you also involved in the growth of that country or economic growth.
I think ISG is is an intergovernmental organization, so legally, we are in an intergovernmental organizations, but we have also more than 100 companies as a member. They cover all the natural rubber and synthetic rubber value chain, and I think our goal in that respect is kind of providing business opportunities when it's possible also to them. So this is one aspect that I think it's very important. That is very important for us, but it's also very important for them. And also the other things that we have noticed now is companies also now tend to request more customized services in a kind of way that for us is a bit more challenging, but I think that is the direction, because clearly the needs are now more specific, and each company has their own issues to address, and they need also to develop their own understanding of the market. So I think that is one direction where certainly ISG in the future should be more active.
Yeah, that will be very useful as well for the industry. So.
Yeah.
Mr. Solter, thank you very much. I know I can continue this question another 2 hours more. I think let's.
I think you have to cut this interview a bit.
Thank you very much. Really, very insightful. You addressed a lot of useful topics and made good points for the audience to understand what is going on, real issues. Okay, so whether the government or private sector, I'm sure they will find it very useful. Before I officially end this program, you have any final remarks to the audience?
No, I would like to to thank you for the invitation once again, and thank also the people that will watch this 2 hour 2 hour discussion for their own patience to be there, hopefully till the end. And yeah, no, thank you very much, and it has been a pleasure. And anytime, no, ISG is available, so no problem. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. I appreciate the time. Appreciate it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's the end of the conversation with Mr. Salvatore Giubo, who is the Secretary General of the International Rubber Study Group. We have discussed about various issues regarding the sustainable natural rubber. I'm hoping that you find this session useful. I know it is a bit long, but try to cover the important aspects of the natural rubber industry. And Mr. Salvatore is a person and actively dynamically involved in issues related to natural rubber. Thank you all for joining this session today. You can always watch this session or all the past episodes at our YouTube channel, on the Technobi channel. Feel free to check it out. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you all for joining this episode today. Bye bye for now.